Hi, I'm Gabriella. Join me as I explore amazing lifestyle destinations and well-being trends in food, fitness, and beauty. In every episode, I'll take you on a healthy living journey that will refresh, rejuvenate, and re-energize all of your senses. We'll also meet great personalities, feature delightful events, and discover everything that will make you feel good about yourself. Welcome to The Good Life. I'm feeling good. Dubai is a multicultural hotspot and a home to many nationalities. It's quite common here to meet and make friends with people from all around the world. But I do think when you live somewhere, it's really important to learn about the culture and the customs of the country, especially if you're raising and growing a family here. So I thought it would be a good idea to go to the Sheikh Mohammed Center for Cultural Understanding. At the center, I met up with Latifa. She enjoys interacting with people from all over the world to give them an insight about the UAE culture. Hi Latifa, it's my first time here and I'm actually quite happy to have the opportunity to visit this center.
I'd like to welcome you and to greet you with Salam Alaikum, which means peace be with you.
Alaikum salam. Can you tell us more about why this was set up?
The concept of the centre is really just to build the bridges between the different nationalities and cultures that we have all around the world. I'm sure you're aware we're actually 20% local and 80% expatriate here in the UAE. So,
it's incredible.
Yes, so you know, this is the whole concept of the centre.
Yeah, I'm sure that is really necessary here because there are so many nationalities all living together in this city. For example, what activities do you offer here?
And we have a few programs and we have a cultural lunch, breakfast, we have heritage tours. We actually have mosque visits also that are held in Jumeirah Mosque and here in the Dewa Mosque. So yeah, quite a lot of activities.
Yeah, that's quite rare actually to get an insight into a mosque. It's not every day you can just walk in and take a look around. So I think that could be really exciting as well.
Yeah, you know, this is the Jumeirah Mosque has been really the heart and soul of this centre. My director, Abdullah Al-Sakal, he's the one that actually started it. And really, I think, you know, it was from that, just him being asked questions from people that were visiting. And then one day he thought, oh, you know, let's go to the mosque and have a look inside. So, and that's really where it started.
Oh, amazing. And is it very popular amongst tourists? What kind of feedback do you get?
It's been amazing, you know, really. What can I say how many visitors that we do have? I do know the Jumeirah Mosque 22,000 last year passed through. So, and the feedback, you know, you can just go online and see, you know, it's been amazing, the feedback that we do get.
What about residents, you know, people who live here and go to work here or to school? Are they curious as well? Do they feel like they want to learn more?
You know, I know a lot of the residents because they're always coming back for visits. When they have guests here on holiday, they're always bringing them to one of our programs. So
I always bring guests around this area as well.
So we actually really get to be friendly with our local residents that live in here.
That's amazing. That's really good that you still attract them as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
And what about Emiratis who maybe want to teach their children about their heritage or want to expose them to, you know, the culture? Do they come here as well?
Yeah, you know, I always get a lot of people asking me that question, you know, with the life being so changing and that. But, you know, I think the Emiratis, they're living the culture every single day. So they've never lost it, really, because they are still living it. And we have so many young volunteers that give their free time to come and help us and join in. The holy month of Ramadan, we have iftar dinners, and you know, we get so many of them volunteers come in. So it's so lovely that they're so interested in their heritage and they want it to be their culture for the world to see.
And amongst the tourists though, what is the most common asked question?
got to be our number one question on all of the visits that we have. Why do we wear black and men wear white? So that is our, you know, I've been here 10 years, still down the line, that's our number one question.
That's so interesting, actually. I never thought about it, but it is an interesting question.
Yeah, I think because of the heat, like automatically people think, why black? But actually we can wear any colour we like, but really the black is just so practical here. It's so thin, the material, it blocks out anything we have on underneath, so that gives us that freedom to wear what we like. Whereas usually the lighter abayas, they're a little bit thicker in material, so we tend to wear a lot of black and a lot of dark colours here.
No wonder. It makes so much sense. I had no idea. The lighter the material, the more airy it is when you're walking. Yeah, okay, that makes so much sense.
Because if we was to travel, I think we wouldn't even wear our abayas. You know, probably just loose clothes, trousers, jackets, especially if we go somewhere cold, we wear hats and scarves and that, so
That's actually for your protection.
Yes.
And what about men? Why do they wear white though?
You know, again, their kandoras do come in blue, black and grey, but unfortunately the darker the colour of the kandora, the thicker it becomes, and their darker kandoras are like a suit material. So for them, the lighter, and going back to the times of, you know, when they used to do the pale diving and that, they used to wear always white. So
and no ACs.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just so practical. Even as a camouflage, they used to use it in the desert. Literally just, you know, dipping it in. They used to take leaves off the tree, I was told, boil the water, just dip the kandora in it, and it'd become the colour of the sand dunes. So they'd use it as a camouflage.
Wow.
So it's just amazing how the colours just work. So yeah,
it's so multifunctional.
I think it would always be black and white. I think, you know, that's so traditional and local.
It's nice, it's neutral as well.
Yeah.
So there's quite a common misconception about women in the region, right? But if you think about it, you see a lot of women in really important posts in business and in the government. It's incredible, actually.
Yeah.
Why do you think that's the case? I mean, why are there so many women in the workforce?
Actually, we're about 80%, I do believe, women that are in the workforce. And you know, we're so lucky to have a government that pushes us and gives us that opportunity to have a great education and positions. That's why 80% are now, you know, working.
And how do they manage it, for example, if they do have kids and a family they want to take care of? I mean, we all know this, right? It's sometimes quite hard to balance everything.
Yes, of course. You know, we're so lucky here. Usually when a couple get married, the lady will go and live with her husband's family. So usually in that one house, you'll get like 5 different generations. Amazing. So the children, they get a lot of mum and dads, and usually mothers and grandmothers, you know, they play such a part in help looking after the children when the mother does step out to work. So there's always someone to look after the kids, and it's, you know, we're so lucky like that also.
I know, they do say it takes a village, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's actually kind of the opposite situation when you look at expats. They're often here alone, so I think they have the added challenge. It's really nice to have that support. Do you feel like the government pushes, you know, the citizens to study?
Yep, you know, women play such an important part in the role of families, the workforce, and people really realise this, and especially with the religion, you know, Islam that we follow. Women are so very highly elevated, and it's, you know, you can so understand that to be equal to a man, you don't have to do the same things, but it's about a woman shining on her qualities. And you know, when they do that, it completes everything perfect. So yeah, women, very strong. You know, they always say that they're the neck of the family, so yeah.
You have children yourself. When you look at how children are being raised nowadays, amongst local families, do you feel like there's a difference to when you were raising your kids, or maybe, you know, your parents-in-law were raising their kids? Is there a big change or development there? You
know, I was thinking about this question actually. A lot of people ask me this, and you know, down the line, after months and months of trying to think about it, you know, I think because the locals are still living their culture, it's never changed in that way. I think the only thing, because life has become more, you know, they have education and jobs and all this, I think the only thing that I could say that I really feel has changed has been the amount of children that they will have. you know, going back years, my father-in-law has 16 children. My brother-in-law's going to 7 to 8, but now the new generation, they're sort of like 3, 4, that's enough, you know. So that's the only thing, but because they live the culture and it's the same as it was, you know, all living together and looking after each other, I don't think it will change. So I really hope they can hold on to that, because family is so important.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My husband has an Iranian background, and it's really funny actually in terms of some of their beliefs. They believe in cold and hot foods, and it has nothing to do with the temperature. So for example, they believe that you can't eat rice and watermelon at the same time. It's just not good for you. And so, you know, are there any of those sort of beliefs in Emirati culture as well that you could share with us?
No, you know, we always have that rice with the chicken, and then when we're finished, there's always a bowl of fruit after to eat after. Yeah.
But do you guys have any superstitions or things, you know, that maybe don't even make sense to a Western person, but because they're ingrained in history and tradition, people just kind of believe it?
Yeah, you know, really, there's a couple of things that I found quite weird. One is that when the people leave their shoes outside, if one of the slippers are turned upside down, you'll get like all the elder generation turning them back up the right way, because they think if it's turned up the wrong way, there'd be an argument in the house.
Oh my gosh, interesting.
Yeah, that's the superstition though, and I've noticed all around the world, I actually like to ask people what their superstitions are. You know, in the UK, don't walk under that ladder. And you know, and this is what I found: every single nationality has their own superstitions. Exactly. So I don't think they can be true. None of us would ever do nothing, tipping the salt over and so on. So yeah, that's one of the things I found really strange. That I see my mother-in-law always turning the shoes back up, and I say to her, "Why, Mum?" So then she explained it. So.
That is such a good story.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense. It probably originates from, you know, you wanting the shoes to look orderly as well, you know, instead of all of them a mess all over.
So it just looks strange when you see them turning all the shoes back up. So yeah.
That is really sweet. So what I've noticed is that amongst Emiratis, they speak English really well, but sometimes their Arabic isn't as good. Is that common?
You know, I think that Arabic at home, in their own environment, perfect, number one. But again, because we're so multicultural here, you know, from anywhere you come from, the really language that everyone can connect and relate to is English. So, you know, and even in the schools and that, this is taught English language. But you know what amazes me? When I first come here, I met my husband. He spoke 5 languages, and actually, if you speak to a lot of the local people, they speak 3 or 4 languages. So, yeah, they love to learn their languages, and this is so lovely because you can communicate. But I think because the different nationalities, English is really spoken, you know, everywhere here. So if you don't speak Arabic and you come here, you'll get on fine because most people know English.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I actually have a friend, she's half Swiss, half Iraqi, and she grew up speaking Arabic at home. Okay. And then she moved to Dubai, and she's like, I hardly use it. I used it more when I lived abroad. And yeah, everyone speaks English. It's actually really easy to integrate yourself here when you move here. Yeah,
and I think being multicultural, there's got to be a base language. So, yeah, but we actually do Arabic classes as well. So it's amazing how many of our people that live here, they want to learn the local language because they like to use it, and it just makes them feel part of the community.
Exactly, and I think when you learn a little bit more about someone's culture, as we were talking about before, when you see them out and about, you know, you kind of understand the things that they're doing. They don't seem foreign to you. I mean, do you feel like that's what people bring back as well to you, or is that some of the
Definitely. You know, this is our #1 feedback. They say we learned so much just by coming here. You know, so many people say, we wish we'd come before, and now we understand, and that is it. Really, I always say to people, the #1 key for us all to living together peacefully is having an understanding about each other's different cultures and nationalities.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that will lead to more tolerance as well.
Definitely, definitely. So yeah, it's great.
Nice. Thank you so much, Latifa.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
After the break, I'll take part in an Emirati cultural lunch, so stay tuned. Najat, first of all, thanks so much for inviting us to this wonderful lunch.
You're welcome. It was our pleasure.
Thank you. And so while we're eating, I do have a few questions. For example, when do you eat breakfast and lunch or dinner?
Okay. So usually in the old Bedouin times, breakfast used to be at the crack of dawn. So when you wake up in the morning after your dawn prayer, usually they would prepare breakfast and that's the time they used to have it. Lunch used to be at noon time, so that's usually around the noon prayer. So dinner time is usually in the evening. So after the evening prayer, they would have an early dinner, and they used to go to sleep very early back in the old times because there's no modern things like the internet, the TV. So they used to sleep very early and wake up very early. That's how the lifestyle used to be.
Could you also tell us a little bit more about these dishes? Are these typical dishes that you would eat, every day or for special occasions? And what do they contain?
Sure. So the dishes that we have for the lunch are the majboos or the biryani. Actually, it's very typical here in the United Emirates to have rice. This is a very important ingredient in the menu. You'd have it either mixed with chicken or with lamb meat or either with sometimes seafood. So the rice is cooked with different spices, but the main spices that we use for making the dishes is cardamom, turmeric, and saffron. And it has potato, boiled eggs, and also it's garnished with some caramelized onions and raisins. And then you have the margouka, which is an Arabic bread soaked in the vegetable stew. It has pieces of chicken. And the saluna, which is, we have different types, vegetarian, and then the other one is mixed, it's vegetarian and has pieces of chicken as well. And the last thing in the menu is the lugaymat, which is a very popular dessert. It's the whole of the donut and it's coated in date syrup. So this is a typical kind of lunch. Of course, when there is a feast or a special occasion, then you have more variety. So you'll have all the different types of rice varieties. So you'd have it with the chicken, you'd have it with the seafood, you'd have it with the lamb, and you'd have, of course, a bigger quantity as well.
I noticed the food is served on the floor, and we're not sitting on the floor necessarily, but on these really comfy pillows.
Right.
Is that how it used to be as well? And do people still eat like this now?
So actually this courtyard wasn't like this. Back in the old times, this whole area was covered in sand. And when we restored it, we put the carpet and the seating to make our guests comfortable. But back in the old times, actually, they used to put something like the baskets that I used to tell you, they used to weave and put the rugs and then put the food. And then when they finished, they cleared them up. And also in the Bedouin style life, they used to live in tents. So the sitting on the floor was very convenient because you wouldn't have chairs and tables, because this is part of the Bedouin life, is that they're easy to move from one settlement to the next. This is why their homes were made of tent. It's a fabric that's actually, it's made of goat hair. It's called Beit al-Shar, and it actually takes 4 years to weave a standard size tent, and it takes 40 years for it to wear off, and you'd have to make a new one. So actually they weren't, there's a hole in the tent, they wouldn't throw it, they would fix it and mend it, and it used to be passed from son from one generation to the next. So it was very practical to sit on the floor and share the meal, and because that's how they used to live, very simple life. And sitting on the floor is the most comfortable way to sit. And when they used to move from one place to another, they just fold the tent, no chairs, no big furniture, to make it easy for them to move from one settlement to the other.
I'm pretty proud of myself when I cook 2 meals. There are like 5 or 6 here. Was it usually the mom or the grandma in the house, or maybe a chef who cooked the food, or how did it work?
So back in the old days, it was always the matriarch, the eldest in the house, was the one who used to cook. So it usually used to be the grandmother or the mother. And of course the mother would be, for example, she's the daughter-in-law, when she moves into the new family, she would be also helping her mother-in-law cook the food, and the sisters also. And then also they would have to teach their daughters, because they will also have to be married to another household, and they will have a role also in doing that. So they used to share this responsibility. And of course, it's part of the Arabic culture to always cook more food. So even if you're a small family, you would have to cook more food because at any time you might have guests coming in, neighbors. So it's part of the Arab culture to cook more food and make sure that you're always prepared and ready to host anybody who walks in.
Do you feel like food in the region has evolved from back in the days? Are there Western influences or are there fusion dishes?
Right. So the food, as I said, was a fusion back in the old times because although it is the United Arab Emirates, but it was a trade route. So you had traders coming from India, from China, from other parts of the Gulf. So our actual food is an infusion of different cultures, different cuisines. Until today, yes, we have now the modern life. Of course, as I said, Dubai is 200 nationalities. You have cuisines from all over parts of the world. You have from the sushi to the burgers to Italian pastas. There's a variety. There's also now they're making different types of lugaymat. Sometimes they fill them in with Nutella, So there's a twist and modern twist to make the dishes a bit more modern to taste all kinds of, taste buds and all kinds of styles.
And what are the staples in Emirati cuisine? You mentioned the dates and rice.
The dates and rice are very important staples, as I said, because they do not, get expired. They do not rot. It's very easy to carry them with you. So when they used to go on the, on the dhows, on the big boats, fishing, pearl diving, the men here in the United Arab Emirates used to depend on two sources of income: fishing and pearl diving. So they used to spend 3 months of the year in the summer, from June until September, away from their families, just trying to get that source of income that will make them survive until the next season. Sometimes they used to actually have to pay money to the boat owner to go on this trip. And if they're not lucky, that debt goes from one season to the next, and sometimes from one generation to the one after. That's how poor they were. So the food, actually the diet on the boat and also here in the land where they were left behind, they would make sure that the family had enough rice to make them survive while they're away. They used to have lots of bags of rice shipped onto these boats for them to survive in these 3 months while they were in the summer. So dates, coffee and rice were the most important ingredients.
And a lot of Middle Eastern cuisine, like Lebanese or Iranian, they serve a lot of bread.
Right.
But I noticed there's no bread here. Is that uncommon?
There's hardly any bread. There we usually we use more the bread in the breakfast, not in the lunch. So in the breakfast we have something like a pancake. It's made with yeast. It's made with eggs and cardamom, and it's sweetened. And we have another type of bread. It's like khamir. It has sesame on top, and it's not sweet. It's salty. So that's usually served in the breakfast. Here, however, we have the margouga, which is actually the Arabic bread soaked in vegetable stew, and we usually call it the traditional style of lasagna because it's basically, wheat and vegetables and meat. So yeah.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I had such a lovely lunch here. I learned so much about the local cuisine, but also generally about the culture and the customs in the UAE. The conversations were light, fun, there was a lot of laughter. So if you get the opportunity, try and come here and check out the center for yourself. I always love to learn new languages. That's why I'm here with Zaina today, who's going to teach me 10 Arabic phrases, and I hope they're going to be useful to you too. Hi Zaina, welcome to The Good Life.
Hello, welcome to the center.
Thank you for being my Arabic teacher today.
You're welcome.
So, first of all, I would like to know, how do you greet someone when you see them or meet them?
For one person, we say Hala, shhalak.
Okay, hala, shalak.
Yeah. And for a group of people, we say Hala, shhalkum.
Hala, shalkum.
Yeah, shalkum.
Hala, shalkum.
Yeah.
For many people.
Yeah, many people.
Okay, and then what would someone answer back to that?
بخير الحمد لله.
What does that mean?
Like, I'm doing fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say it again, please.
بخير
Khair.
الحمد لله.
Khair, hamdallah. Okay. So how do you say thank you?
شكرا.
Shukran. I know that one. That
Yeah.
sounds really familiar. I hear it on Emirates Airlines a lot. Shukran. Okay, and you're welcome?
عفوا.
Afwan. Oh, an easy one
Easy.
for a change. One word, afwan. Afwan.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what about good morning?
صباح الخير.
Sabah
الخير.
al khair.
Yeah.
Sabah al khair?
Yes.
Okay. And what about goodbye?
مع السلامة.
Ma
سلامة.
ma'a salama.
Yes, مع السلامة.
Ma'a salama. My name is?
اسمي. For example, my name is Gabriella. اسمي Gabriella.
Esmi Gabriella.
Yes.
Okay. And a very romantic phrase in case you fall in love. I love you.
For a guy, we say أحبك. For a girl, أحبك.
Oh, okay. Okay, say it again.
For a guy, أحبك.
Ahabak.
And for a girl, أحبك.
Ahabak.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm saying it to a guy, I have to say ahabba.
أحبك.
Ahabak.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then what about you're beautiful?
أنتي جميلة.
NT
جميلة.
Jamila. NT Jamila.
Yeah.
And so is that for a girl or a boy or for both?
No, أنتي جميلة for a girl.
Okay, and for a guy?
جميل.
Jamil.
Yeah.
Just Jamil?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. And so in Arabic, is there one Arabic? Are there different dialects or different even languages within?
Actually, it's different. We have the straight Arabic, the formal one,
Yeah.
and we have the slang one that we use it in our daily life. For example, now what I'm teaching you is
Yeah.
the Emirati language.
Oh, it's an Emirati
Yeah,
Arabic?
yes.
Oh, okay, great. I love that I'm learning the real one from this area. So I hope I can use it. What about, have you ever tried to speak Swiss German?
No.
I'm half Swiss, so I need to
Okay.
teach you, obviously.
Okay, sure.
Let's start with the more useful ones, like I love you. In Swiss German is Ich liebe dich.
Ich liebe dich.
Yes, very
Okay.
good. I love how you're rolling the CH. That's not easy. Like, not a lot
Yeah.
of people can do that. I think because in Arabic you have it as well, right? The ch.
Yeah.
Yeah? You use that a lot.
Yeah, we have
Okay.
it.
It's really funny actually because when I speak Swiss German sometimes people think that I'm angry or that I'm fighting because it's like
Yeah.
it sounds aggressive sometimes. Then you're beautiful in Swiss German is du bist hübsch.
Du bist hübsch.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're a
great.
natural. I think you've passed the test. You could probably learn Swiss German now. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zainab, so much for teaching
You're
me how to speak
welcome.
Arabic. I'm going to have to use it now and practice a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. You're welcome.
This has been such an interesting day. I really feel like I learned quite a bit. I hope you gained some valuable insight from this week's episode as well. And remember, if you have any comments or suggestions, get in touch with us on our social media pages. I'm Gabriella, and this is The Good Life.